What's happening around the world?
And what's happening here at home. A very good evening. You're watching this Friday edition's Primetime News on TV1. Bringing you the news, I'm Mariam Dinavijaya.
And I'm Sandra Ferdinando. Let's take a look at our headlines for tonight.
Navam full moon Poya Day observed in Sri Lanka with special religious activities. Sirasa Namami held in Devinuwara. US praises Sri Lanka's economic reforms, thanks for Red Sea support. India, Sri Lanka flex muscle in naval exercise as Chinese research vessel looms. Rajapaksa hints at general election before presidential election. Former Chief of Staff of the Army retired Major General Satya Priyaliyanage begins new journey with SJB. Agriculture Minister acknowledges challenges in paddy procurement.
නමුත් මමත් හිතනවා මෙතන යම් ගැටලුවක් තියෙනවා. පිළිගන්න වෙනවා. රියලේ මණ්ඩලයට අපිට සල්ලි නැහැ.
President Ranil Wickremesinghe stated that Sri Lanka remains committed to freedom of navigation in the Indian Ocean.
He made these comments when United States Deputy Secretary of State for Management and Resources Richard Verma called on the president in Colombo. Richard Verma is the fourth high-level US diplomat to visit the country in 1 week.
The United States Deputy Secretary of State for Management and Resources, Richard Verma, who called on President Ranil Wickremesinghe, expressed appreciation for the efforts taken by the Sri Lankan government to turn the economy around. During the discussions, the president outlined the progress of the debt restructuring along with several key economic reforms measures, including the agricultural modernization program. Commenting on the matters related to global security, the Deputy Secretary thanked the Sri Lankan government for their assistance in the ongoing naval operations in the Red Sea. The president stated that Sri Lanka remains committed to freedom of navigation in the Indian Ocean, echoing solidarity with Saudi Arabia's stance on the Houthi rebels.
The United States Deputy Secretary of State for Management and Resources, Richard Verma, met with President Ranil Wickremesinghe. Commenting on matters related to global security, the Deputy Secretary thanked the Sri Lankan government for their assistance in the ongoing naval operations in the Red Sea.
Very, very grateful for your leadership in participating in the Operation Prosperity Guardian, the efforts in the Red Sea. This afternoon, we're going to be going out to announce, subject to our approval of Congress, a fourth Coast Guard cutter that we will transfer that I think will give you even more capabilities, and just, again, excited about the prospect of contributing to further ties, whether on maritime domain awareness, whether on counterterrorism training, on whatever area we can do together to strengthen the peace and security and stability of the Indian Ocean region.
Talking of security, we are committed to freedom of navigation in the Indian Ocean. And I've seen the effect of closing of the Suez Canal. When it was closed in 1967, after the war, it didn't open up till about 1978 or 79, 10 years. And that had an adverse impact on the Sri Lankan, the Colombo port. So we can't allow anyone to be blocking or in any way obstructing the passage of ships in the Indian Ocean, more particularly places like the Gulf or the Red Sea. Red Sea is the most important to us. So when it was announced, I thought, no, Sri Lanka should at least say, as far as Yemen is concerned, we have backed the stand of the Saudi government. So for us also, they are a terrorist force. And we certainly said we can't deal with the Houthis at all.
The past 2 weeks have marked a significant period for Sri Lanka's foreign relations, not solely due to the recent visit of the US delegation. During this time frame, representatives from two other major global powers, Israel and Iran, also visited Sri Lanka, garnering widespread attention. The visit of the Transport Minister of Israel, currently involved in a major conflict with Hamas, to Sri Lanka is a noteworthy event. Iranian Foreign Affairs Minister Dr. Hossein Amir Abdullahian paid a 2-day official visit to Sri Lanka after visiting several Arab countries and meeting with representatives of Hamas. Meanwhile, President Ranil Wickremesinghe recently said that he is ready to send a warship from Sri Lanka to counter the Houthi rebels' attacks. After the start of the Israel-Hamas war, the Houthi rebels who support Hamas began attacking ships belonging to Israel and countries supporting the Israel in the Red Sea. In response, the US launched the Operation Prosperity Guardian. Sri Lanka's president proposed to send a ship in support of the operation.
The arrival of the Chinese research vessel Shenyang Hong 3 in the vicinity of the Maldivian capital Male has coincided with the commencement of a joint naval exercise involving India, Sri Lanka and the Maldives, raising concerns about potential regional tensions. The presence of the Chinese research vessel Shenyang Hong 3 in the vicinity of the Maldivian capital Male has garnered significant attention, particularly in Indian media, due to its timing and the evolving political landscape in the region. The vessel's arrival on February 22, 2024 coincided with the commencement of the Dosti joint naval exercise involving India, Sri Lanka and the Maldives. This exercise, aimed at strengthening maritime cooperation and security collaboration, adds a layer of complexity to the situation. Indian Coast Guard ship Samarth with the integral helicopter and Abhinav entered Male to participate in the 16th edition of exercise Dosti. In addition, ICG Donier also reached Male for the exercise. Sri Lankan naval ship Samudra is also in the Maldives to take part in the exercise Dosti 16. The arrival of the Shenyang Hong 3 has added a new dimension to the ongoing diplomatic tensions between India and China regarding Sri Lanka. India has expressed concerns about the repeated presence of the Chinese research vessels in Sri Lankan waters, alleging potential security threats and dual-purpose data collection for both civilian and military activities, including submarine navigation. In response to these concerns, the Sri Lankan government imposed a 1-year ban on all research vessels conducting activities within its territorial waters. With the ban in place, the Shenyang Hong 3, which had departed the Chinese port of Sanya on January 16th, diverted to the Maldives instead of Sri Lanka. Indian media sources have interpreted the Sri Lankan ban and the arrival of an Indian submarine in Colombo as a victory for India. Chinese media, on the other hand, have characterized Indian pressure on Sri Lanka as a shameful act. The Maldivian government has clarified that the Shenyang Hong 3 is not conducting research activities within its territorial waters and is solely present for logistical purposes. At the same time, Sri Lanka naval ship Sayurala is taking part in Milan, the multilateral naval exercise hosted by the Indian Navy for the 12th time. The 12th edition of the multilateral naval exercise Milan 2024 commenced on the 19th of February 2024 in India's Visakhapatnam with the arrival of warships and aircraft. The Indian Navy deployed 2 carrier battle groups to the Bay of Bengal for the New Delhi's multinational naval drill exercise Milan 2024. Divided into in-port at sea phases, Milan 2024 will host more than 50 participating nations, 35 vessels, 50 aircraft and various delegations.
The annual feast of the St. Anthony's Church in the Kachadip Island, located in the Sea of Sri Lanka, kicked off today.
Unlike previous years, the feast witnessed a significant drop in attendance from Indian devotees today. This decline is attributed to the recent imprisonment of a group of Indian fishermen who attended the Sea of Sri Lanka illegally.
The annual feast of the St. Anthony's Church in the Kachadip Island kicked off with the traditional hoisting of the flag. Devotees from the Kurikaduan in Jaffna and Mannar travelled to the Kachathivu island to attend the feast. However, the Kachathivu feast, a vital symbol of cultural ties and regional cooperation of India and Sri Lanka, witnessed a significant drop in attendance from Indian devotees this year. What is this Kachathivu issue? Newsfirst on numerous occasions has reported about Indian fishermen using illegal fishing gear in the sea of Sri Lanka. Apprehending and subsequently releasing Indian fishermen who illegally enter our waters is a regular practice. In 2024 alone, 88 Indian fishermen have been arrested, with 70 already released. Against such a backdrop, on February 16, 2 Indian fishermen who disregarded GPS warnings and entered Sri Lankan waters were sentenced to 6 months in prison by the Kites Court. The Kites Magistrates Court convicted 2 Indian fishermen of illegally entering the Sea of Sri Lanka using GPS equipment and sentenced them to 6 months in prison. Yesterday, another fisherman was convicted over the same charges. The Rameswaram Fishermen Association said they will not participate in the Kachathivu feast over the issue.
We came for our livelihood. Our central government consistently supports Sri Lanka. However, in this situation, our fishermen have been sentenced to prison. Therefore, as a protest against this injustice, we will not participate in the Kachathivu festival.
Indian devotees had arrived at the Rameswaram today with the hope of participating in the annual Kachathivu feast. However, the security services in Rameswaram denied them permission.
This religious festival is important to us. We've been planning to attend for months, but sadly that opportunity was denied. We are heartbroken.
We share the worries we can't share the people with God. Around 500 of us gathered only to be denied entry. They deceived us.
Fisher folk in Jaffna held a media briefing today.
While we all share the hope for moving forward in harmony, the actions of some fishermen from Rameswaram who illegally entered our waters unfortunately disrupted this progress. We understand and regret that this incident prevented them from participating in the Kachathivu feast.
Retired Major General Satya Priya Liyanage, the former Chief of Staff of the Army, has officially joined the Samagi Janabala Vegaya. Today, he met with opposition leader Sajith Premadasa.
When's the election? Major General Liyanage, Sri Lanka Armoured Corps, served as the commandant of the Sri Lanka Army Volunteer Force and commander, Overall Operations Command, before being appointed to the second highest office in the army. His illustrious military career includes numerous key positions, notably as the commander of the Western Security Forces headquarters. The Samagi Janabala Vegaya has announced that Major General Liyanage will assume the role of head of the party's anti-corruption policy and implementation unit. In addition, he was appointed as a consultant for the anti-corruption campaign spearheaded by Sajith Premadasa, the opposition leader.
When's the election?
A social media post by former Sri Lankan ambassador to Russia, Udayanga Veeratunga, has sparked speculation about the upcoming election. It claims that Podujana Perammuna's mastermind, Basil Rajapaksa, will soon return to the island to lead the general election campaign. The post further suggests that the elections will be held after Sinhala Tamil New Year and that Basil is working tirelessly to ensure his party's victory and not to reinstate Ranil.
When's the election?
As speculation swirls around the upcoming general election in Sri Lanka, Member of Parliament Shandima Veerakudi has voiced concerns about potential attempts to retain the executive presidential system.
The
MPs are well aware that they will not be able to return home after supporting to delay the elections. As they don't want to leave the country and the planet, I do not think the support of 150 MPs can be obtained to pass any amendment that will see a delay to elections being held.
When's the election?
Vasantha Samarasinghe, the Jatika Janabala Vegaya leader for the Anuradhapura district, has declared a guaranteed JJB victory in any future election.
They assume that they can retain the seats in parliament if a general election is called for ahead of the presidential poll. However, the people have changed. The people are waiting for the election to change the government and the state power. Therefore, if Ranil Rajapaksa is attempting to illegally and arbitrarily engage in activities, the Jatika Janabala Vegaya is ready to respond in a democratic manner. Ranil should now decide. If not, we are ready to bring the people to the streets and drive away Ranil.
එහෙම නොවෙනවා නම් මේ රටේ ජනතාවත් එක්ක පාරට බහලා රනිල් එලවන්නත් අපි ලෑස්ති.
The 45th Nawam Mahaperahara of the Hunupitiya Gangarama temple in Colombo began this evening.
මේ ප්‍රදේශයේ විතරක් කොයිතරම් පිරිසක් ජනකායක් එතුමාගේ මූලිකත්වයෙන් මේ පෙරහැර මංගල්‍යය චාරිත්‍ර ඉටු කරන ආකාරය තමයි අපි දකින්නේ. ආචාර්ය පූජ්‍ය කිරින්දේ අස්සජි අපේ හඳුනන වහන්සේගේ අනුශාසනාවත් එක්ක මේ සියලු කටයුතු
රටේ ජනාධිපතිවරයා අද මේ අවස්ථාවට සහභාගී වෙමින්
උන්වහන්සේගේ ආශිර්වාදයත් එක්ක මහා සංඝරත්නයේ ආශිර්වාදයත් එක්ක මේ මොහොතේදී අතිගරු ජනාධිපතිතුමන් වැඩමවාගෙන එන ආකාරය තමයි අපි මේ දකින්නේ. මේ සියලු පූජෝපහාර.
The procession began with President Ranil Wickremesinghe placing the sacred casket on the ceremonial elephant, symbolizing the start of the procession. Nawam Mahaperahara of the Hunupitiya Gangaram temple in Colombo. This is being held for the 45th time, and Sirasa TV is a media partner for this religious event. The Sirasa TV Poya Day broadcast took place throughout the day, centering the Matra Devinura sacred grounds. The Sirasa Namami Poya Day program commenced early in the day following religious observances. Thereafter, the Sirasa Dhammasara Poya Day Dhamma sermon was delivered by Venerable Henduave Dhamma Madiba Pero. The Viharasana program that discusses historic literature also took place today. Thereafter, the Turnusita and Satpuma discussion programs took place.
නමිනදීගත පසිඳුන්නීල පුල්වන් දිවිඳුන්නි ප්‍රතාප.
Thereafter, the Podhisadugen Ahanna program that brings together children and novice monks took place at the Devinura sacred grounds.
පොඩි හාමුදුරුවනේ ඇයි අපිට දෙවිනුවර වැදගත් වෙන්නේ? අපේ සම්බුද්ධ ශ්‍රී ශාසනය සුරකින දේවතාවුන් වහන්සේ මෙහි වැඩ වාසය කරන නිසා.
The Jala Jana rally, dedicated to safeguarding Sri Lanka's rich hydraulic heritage and critical water resources, successfully culminated its efforts on the Nawam Full Moon Poya Day at the Devinura sacred grounds. Dedicated to the guardian deity of the Buddha, Lord Upul I, the sacred grounds of Devinura stand as a testament to centuries of religious devotion. The historical Utpalavarna Sri Vishnu temple, nestled within these grounds, welcomes all worshippers with open arms, transcending barriers of discrimination. Embarking on a nationwide pilgrimage of blessings, the Jala Jana rally commenced its journey from the ancient city of Anuradhapura. Culminating today at the Devinura sacred grounds, the rally's sacred water traversed the length of Sri Lanka, carrying the hopes and prayers for the nation and her people. The special platform of the Jala Jana rally joined a grand procession in Gandhara. Upon arrival at the majestic gates of the sacred grounds, the Jala Jana rally was met with a joyous and celebratory atmosphere.
වැවෙන් ගත්ත ජලය, ලිඳෙන් ගත්ත ජලය, නදියෙන් ගත්ත ජලය, සමුද්‍රයෙන් ගත්ත ජලය එක් රැස් කරලා
මේ හැමදේම අපි කරේ රටට සහ ජනතාවට ආශිර්වාද පිණිසමයි.
Over the course of several days, water was meticulously gathered from Sri Lanka's ancient valleys, tanks and rivers, culminating in a single, unified offering at this dedicated location. Devotees visiting the Devinora sacred grounds enthusiastically embraced the Jala Jana rally, eager to contribute their support and unite in this endeavour.
I consider this effort as a great deed as it commenced from the sacred grounds of Anuradhapura, where the Buddha Sasana is protected, and culminated in the sacred grounds of the Utpalavarna Sri Vishnu Temple. I am also thankful to the media network for arranging all these programs in line with the Sirasa Namami program at the premises. I appreciate all these efforts.
විශේෂයෙන්ම ස්තුතිවන්ත වෙනවා අපේ ගරු සභාපති සශි රාජමහේන්ද්‍රන් මහත්මයාගේ සංකල්පයක් අනුව අපිට හිතුණා.
The Jala Jana rally is a concept of our chairman Shashi Rajamahendran. There are certain aspects in our history and proud heritage that only belongs to us. This important element is the country's water resources, especially the ancient hydraulic or Vavar civilizations. As the world evolves and undergoes many changes, I believe that we too have a long journey ahead with our great heritage. We are protected by our heritage and culture. Therefore, if we fail to protect our culture, we lose our place in history. That is why we travel to the most remote and difficult terrain to collect water from our Vavas, rivers and the sea of Sri Lanka and bring that water here to this sacred ground. This is our culture. This is our heritage. We not only hope to bring upon blessings on the people of our country, but we hope to send a special message about the country's journey ahead.
විශේෂ පණිවිඩයක් තමයි අපි මේ දෙන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ. ශ්‍රී ලංකා වාසීන්ට
We traveled across Sri Lanka and engaged in this task with the aim of blessing all Sri Lankans and for the country's future to be a successful one. Today we culminate this program here as these sacred grounds.
පූජා භූමියේදී හැකියවීම ඊටාම වාග්ය සම්පන්න දෙයක්.
The Mahasangha invoked their blessings on the people. The Jala Jana rally, forever etched in the hearts of Sri Lankans, stands as a testament to the nation's unwavering commitment to preserving its vibrant and proud ancient hydraulic heritage.
Sri Lankan farmers are expressing concerns following the government's decision to withdraw from the paddy procurement program.
This move has left them facing uncertainties and potential difficulties in selling their harvest. Agriculture Minister Mahinda Amaravira has acknowledged the existence of some problems in paddy purchasing.
Paddy purchasing is done via the Finance Ministry. The Finance Ministry has allocated funds for small and medium mill owners for this purpose to the tune of Rs 9 billion as low-interest loans. I believe there are some issues in this process. The Paddy Marketing Board does not have funds. If they did have funds, the paddy purchasing would have taken place.
Farmers' organizations in Ampara, a key rice-producing district in Sri Lanka, have expressed skepticism regarding the government's decision to withdraw from paddy procurement and rely on private mill owners.
Minister Mahinda Amaravira took a record from the farmers in advance for the varieties of paddy cultivated. We thought that this time the program will go well. The businessmen are using the middlemen and are purchasing everything and leaving nothing for the farmer. They are taking those tanks and buying them now through middlemen brokers. There's absolutely no benefit for us or the consumers.
The Galloya South Bank Farmers Committee, representing farmers in a key agricultural region, expressed concerns about the lack of a formal notification from the government regarding the commencement of cultivation for the Yala season.
The Agricultural Insurance Board should come here. The Fertilizer Secretariat should definitely come here. How do you think this program should be successful? This is where we make decisions related to the season. If these people are not at the place of purchase, these farmers will be helpless. There's no price for rice today. That's why we will prepare a specific program in the next meeting. Bank loans have been taken. It is with every challenge that we have entered the next season. That is why we have to prepare some kind of a program.
This is the fate of paddylands in Polonnaruwa area.
There is no proper price. It's around 90 rupees. There is no point in such a price. We save these from elephants with the greatest difficulty. We have pawned our belongings. The harvest will not be sufficient to recover the debt. We won't have anything to eat.
News First with the people.
The Sri Lanka Institute of Architects kicked off Architect 2024, the architect's work, lifestyle and trade exhibition yesterday evening, showcasing the innovative and diverse works of young, up-and-coming and established architects.
Architect 2024 was inaugurated by President-elect of Asia, Architect Saifuddin Ahmed, along with guest of honor Dr. Sirasa Wickramasinghe, President of SLIA, Architect Rohana Bandara and many other attendees. Architect 2024 promises to be a landmark event showcasing a wide range of architectural works from residential and commercial projects to urban design and sustainable solutions. The exhibition will be buzzing with activity, offering visitors a glimpse into latest trends and technologies shaping the future of architecture in Sri Lanka.
The theme of Revive, Collaborate and Thrive is most appropriate, especially worldwide where we had the pandemic and of course in particular Sri Lanka where you had the crisis. What more that architects as the leaders of the building industry need to showcase what the profession and industry can do to the country. Hopefully the public, and not only the public, and I hope the government of Sri Lanka can actually see what architects and also the members of the building industry can do to improve to a higher level of the economy of the country.
The MTV MBC Network is the official media sponsor of the event.
Presidential election has to be held because unlike local government election and some other elections that was postponed, presidential election is very clearly stated in the constitution with the dates.
It is the future, it is the present, the composition of the present and the way how we are building up for it to get into the future.
Nothing to declare in terms of the constitution. You have to have the presidential election this year. In their propagandas, the first priority they have been given to abolish the executive because there was a public demand.
Because these government policies, I think, are not going to solve our problem. And also, the political henchmen are still running these agents.
On the areas where we can thrive through collaboration rather than competing with India.
Streaming live on Newsfirst, YouTube and Facebook channels.
To produce 1 kilogram of rice in Sri Lankan context, the farmer used 500 liters of water. 1,500 liters of water in Sri Lankan farm on average used to cultivate 1 kilogram of rice.
Then your bargaining position is not that great. We have to be competitive and we have to have a good basket of goods. That's one of my main problems, how much these trade agreements will benefit Sri Lanka.
I think macroeconomic stability is important. Focusing only on that may not be sufficient. But even a 3% growth is not going to be sufficient to take the economy to where we want it to be.
Rather than a problem or an issue that needs solving. And that's why it's important to hear stories from people who have been impacted. This is something that may be overlooked.
And in your international developments, an American company has made a history by becoming the first commercial outfit to put a spacecraft on the moon.
Houston-based Intuitive Machines landed its Odysseus robot near the lunar South Pole. It took some minutes for controllers to establish that the craft was down, but eventually a signal was received. Staff at the company cheered and clapped at the news. It was an important moment, not just for the commercial exploitation of space, but for the US space program in general. Intuitive Machines has broken the United States' half-century absence from the moon's surface. You have to go back to the last Apollo mission in 1972 for an occasion when American hardware nestled down gently in the lunar soil. The US space agency NASA had purchased a room on Odysseus 6 scientific instruments, and its administrator Bill Nelson was quick to add his congratulations to Intuitive Machines for a mission he described as a triumph.
And now for some news from the big match season in Sri Lanka.
Commencing in 1964, the Battle of the Brothers, which is played between Isipatana College and Thurston College, will take place for the 61st time this year.
We are well prepared this time with a lot of practice. Tenuka Rajapaksha is among the top scorers with over 500 runs to his name. Dinal has scored over 400 runs. As for bowlers, Tanuka Paliyavadana has taken over 50 wickets. We hope to give a good game to the Isipatana team, challenge them and win the match.
Among the 60 previous encounters between the two schools, 49 of them have ended in a draw. 6 matches were won by Thurston College and 4 matches were won by Isipatana College.
We hope to put up a good challenge to the Thurston College team. Our highest run scorer this season is Ruchiru Rodrigo, who has over 500 runs. I'm the highest wicket taker and I've taken 55 wickets. There is a lot of support given by the coaches and our school. Taruksha Asel and Kevin Samuel are promising. As a team, we are well prepared and united, and these days we are preparing for the big match. The cup is with Thurston, and this is my last year, and I hope to bring the cup to Isipatana.
Isipatana last won their encounter in 2019, has retained the cup as the next 4 matches ended in a draw. The 61st Battle of the Brothers will take place tomorrow and day after at the SSC grounds in Colombo.
And with that, we wrap up news for tonight.
Thank you very much for watching. Good night and take care.